Hails to the new queen. Nietzsche's psychology as the supreme science. Throughout history, psychology has often been overshadowed by the more respectable sciences, biology, physics, and medicine. It has struggled for recognition, often dismissed as too speculative, too subjective, or too intertwined with philosophy to be considered a real science. However, Friedrich Nietzsche saw a radically different truth. Psychology is the highest and most important of all sciences. In Beyond Good and Evil, E23, Nietzsche proclaims, Nietzsche's claim is bold and provocative. He argues that psychology is the foundational science and that all other fields exist merely to serve it. Why? Because the human mind, its drives, instincts, emotions, and illusions, is the starting point of all knowledge. Before we can understand truth, morality, science, or even philosophy, we must first understand the mind that creates them. The death of God and the rise of psychology. Nietzsche believed that psychology became essential after the death of God. In the past, theology was the dominant field, offering divine answers to human questions, dictating morality, and defining human purpose. But with the decline of religious belief, there was no longer an external authority to tell us what is true, what is good, or what life means. This left humanity in a crisis. What now determines truth, morality, or purpose? If there are no gods, no absolute values, and no eternal laws, then the only thing left is human beings themselves. Thus, psychology takes the place of theology. It is no longer the study of divine will. It is the study of the human condition, our drives, fears, instincts, and illusions. It examines the hidden motives behind our beliefs and values, stripping away the comforting lies we tell ourselves. Example: psychology versus theology. 1. A theologian might say, humans seek truth because God has instilled in them a love of wisdom. 2. A Nietzschean psychologist would say, humans seek truth not because of God, but because truth is a means of survival, power, or psychological comfort. The difference is radical. Nietzsche does not see truth, beauty, or morality as objective things. They are always created by human beings for human purposes. Psychology's job is to uncover why we believe what we believe. Psychology over philosophy. The mind before its creations. Nietzsche reverses traditional thinking. Instead of studying philosophy as an abstract pursuit of truth, he sees it as an expression of the philosopher's psychological needs and desires. He argues that this means that behind every system of thought, there is a hidden psychological motivation. Philosophers do not reach their conclusions through pure reason. They arrive at them because of who they are, their instincts, their upbringing, and their emotional needs. Example: the hidden psychology of philosophers. 1. Plato believed in an eternal world of perfect forms because he hated change and instability. His psychology craved certainty. 2. Kant argued that morality was absolute because he was a rigid, duty-driven man who psychologically needed a fixed moral order. 3. Schopenhauer believed life was suffering because he was bitter and disappointed with the world. Nietzsche's psychological approach to philosophy does not ask, is this idea true? It asks, what kind of person needs this idea to be true? This is why psychology is superior to philosophy, because before we can judge an idea, we must first understand the person who created it. Nietzsche's self-therapy. Psychology as a tool for liberation. Unlike modern psychologists who studied human behavior in a detached, scientific way, Nietzsche's psychology was deeply personal. He did not write about the mind abstractly. He used psychology to analyze himself, to overcome his own suffering, and to liberate himself from false beliefs. Nietzsche's entire body of work is, in many ways, a form of self-therapy. He examined his own pains, fears, and struggles, not to eliminate them, but to understand and transform them. This is why Nietzsche's psychology is not just theoretical, it is a practice, a way of life. Instead of trying to eliminate suffering, as modern therapy often does, Nietzsche's psychology teaches us how to use suffering to become stronger. Nietzsche's new psychology versus modern therapy. Nietzsche was a forerunner of many modern psychological ideas, including 1. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. He believed that our thoughts shape our emotions and that false beliefs create suffering. 2. The biopsychosocial model, BPS. He saw humans as biological, psychological, and social beings, rejecting simplistic explanations. 3. Depth psychology. He studied the unconscious motives behind human actions, a concept later explored by Freud and Jung. However, his psychology was radically different from today's mainstream approaches. While modern therapy often focuses on comfort and healing, Nietzsche's psychology was about confrontation and transformation. Example: Nietzsche versus modern therapy. And modern therapy. Your depression is a disorder. You need medication and treatment. 2. Nietzsche's approach. Your suffering is a test. How can you use it to grow stronger? Modern therapy often tries to remove pain. Nietzsche's psychology teaches us to embrace and use it. Nietzsche as the overturner of psychology. Nietzsche did not just practice psychology, he transformed it. He overturned every comfortable assumption, forcing people to face the brutal reality of human nature. He overturned the belief in truth, arguing that truth is a human invention created to serve psychological needs. He overturned the belief in free will, arguing that our thoughts and decisions are shaped by deep, unconscious instincts. He overturned the belief in morality, arguing that morality is not universal, but a tool used by the weak or powerful. His psychology is not about making people feel better. It is about waking them up, stripping away their illusions, and forcing them to take full responsibility for their own transformation. Final thoughts. Psychology as the true queen of the sciences. Nietzsche's vision of psychology is radical, transformative, and deeply unsettling. He demands that we stop looking for universal truths, stop seeking comfort, and start looking at the brutal psychological reality of human existence. Psychology is not just about understanding thoughts and behaviors. It is about understanding why we believe, why we suffer, and how we can transform ourselves. What do you think? Is Nietzsche's vision of psychology more true than modern psychology? Is suffering something to be cured or something to be used? Drop your thoughts below.